When the hinge cover of the machine is opened, we must put the safety support rod on it to prevent the hinge cover from collapsing. With this support rod, it won't fall down. Once the support rods are in place, we can proceed with cleaning and inspecting the interior of the reflow oven. Because we haven't entered the computer system yet, we will now turn on the computer host switch. Wait for the computer to enter the system. One more very important point: if you need to close the hinged cover on the reflow soldering machine, be sure to remove the support rod first before closing the cover. A previous customer closed the hinge cover without first removing the support rod, which caused the problem. The system will automatically enter the reflow soldering machine software. After logging into the system, the reflow soldering software automatically opens. Next, we need to set the parameters. We open the editing configuration. Parameter settings are modified here. There are 8 heating zones above and below, and the heating temperature of each zone is set individually. If the temperature is the same up and down, we click here. Let's demonstrate. Set the temperature zone to 200. Click the same temperature up and down. Click Save. If we have a large number of programs, we can enter them directly. When the program name is displayed, click Programs, and then click Settings, select as current. When there is no program, we need to add configuration. Then give the program a name. Click Add Configuration to create a new program. Then give the program a name. We need to give this program a name, and then we can modify the target temperature for each temperature zone. How much temperature do you need to set for each temperature zone? What do we refer to set the target temperature? The name of the program is not set in the video, which is a wrong operation. You must set the program name after adding the configuration. Select the program we just created and set the temperature for each temperature zone. Let's set the temperature 190 to 100. Then we click on the same temperature up and down, then save the settings. If you need to switch to another program, select the program first, then select as current, click Save, Close and Exit. This is how to switch between different programs. Let's demonstrate by switching the current program to its program. Let's click Edit Configuration first. Select the program name we require. Click Save Modifications, or choose as current. Select this program as current and click Save Changes. If you modify the parameters, we must click Save Modifications. After selecting the program, be sure to click Select as current, then modify the parameters, and then save the parameters. The current program name is displayed here. Turn on the chain conveyor switch, the air supply switch, and the heating switch. Turn on the cooling zone air supply. This is to drip oil and lubricate the PCB conveyor chain. When the machine is being cleaned and maintained, we can turn on the switch for about 30 minutes. The machine will automatically lubricate the chain. After turning on the drip switch for 30 to 40 minutes, we need to turn off the drip switch. If you forget to turn off the drip switch, the machine will keep dripping oil. This is the wind speed at which the hot air is transported. This is the speed of PCB chain conveying. Here are the settings. These parameters are default parameters and should not be modified. If you don't understand, don't modify these parameters. These parameters do not need to be set. If you need to check the actual temperature in the reflow furnace, you need to use the inspection. We will give away 3 temperature test wires. Plug these 3 wires here, and paste the other end on the PCB pad. Once everything is ready, place the PCB at the machine's conveyor belt inlet and then click Start. We usually don't use this method to check the furnace temperature. Instead, we usually use a furnace temperature tester to measure the actual temperature of the furnace. Without a furnace temperature tester, the furnace temperature can only be detected via a wired connection. If you press the emergency switch, the machine will alarm. We need to click Reset to restore. Press the emergency stop conveying function and the heating function has all stopped. so we have to reset immediately. Because of pressing emergency stop, the heating will be turned off. It needs to be turned on manually. If you need to switch between different languages, click here. If you need to switch English, click English directly to switch. Let's take a look at the parameter settings again. Click Edit Configuration. This is to set the heating temperature for each temperature zone. This is the speed at which the inverter is set to deliver hot air. Frequency conversion 1 represents the transmission speed of hot air in all heating zones above. Frequency conversion 2 represents the transmission speed of hot air in all heating zones below. If the component is blown away and the wind speed is too high, you can reduce the air supply speed. This is to set the speed of the air supply. If you find that the IC or chip has been blown away, you need to reduce the wind speed. This is the transmission speed of the PCB. You can also directly enter here to set the inverter conveyor wind speed. You can also directly modify the PCB delivery speed here. 1 represents 1 meter per minute. If you think the speed is faster, you can set it to 0.9 meters per minute or 0.8 meters per minute. The frequency converter 1 represents the air supply speed of the upper heating zone, and the frequency converter 2 represents the air supply speed of the lower heating zone. Click Settings. The parameters here do not need to be modified. Some parameters are prohibited from being modified. This cools down for 30 minutes. I directly click to exit the software, the machine system countdown for 30 minutes, and then the machine automatically shuts down. When the machine arrives 30 minutes later, the computer mainframe of the machine is automatically turned off for heating. If you encounter any problems during the operation and do not understand, you can contact us at any time. Our contact information is www.jaimes.com. If you encounter something you don't understand, you can ask us at any time, but don't modify the parameters at will. Here we will focus on one thing. This file is prohibited from being deleted. If you delete this file, the software will no longer be usable. This will be very troublesome. If you delete this file default, the software is almost obsolete. You can delete or add the programs you set yourself, but this is a system file, so deleting it is prohibited. Whoever is responsible for operating this machine, you have to tell him that this file cannot be deleted. After deleting, the software will have problems and need to be repaired remotely, which is very, very troublesome. There is also a heating method. Do not choose overall heating in all areas, but choose segmented heating. If the whole is heated, the current required is very large. Therefore, it is best not to modify the parameters in the system at will. If there is anything you don't understand, feel free to contact us, but don't modify the default parameters of the machine at any time. Our contact information is www.jaimes.com. This video is introduced here, and the detailed introduction will continue in the next issue.